Okay, so my name is Noha Hefni and I handle corporate affairs for PepsiCo Middle East and Africa. But my background is slightly, away from the corporate world. I come from a background in the international development field where I worked in the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees for around 6 or 7 years of my life. And today, I'm handling a function called corporate affairs, which covers really communications, public affairs, and corporate social responsibility for PepsiCo. So as part of the work that I've done in corporate social responsibility, for the past couple of years, I have been really advocating for PepsiCo to be supporting and developing entrepreneurs across the region. So we have multiple programs, and one of them, and really proud of that program in specific, is Hadafi. So I feel really humbled, to have been invited to speak, to all of you tonight. And I think my discussion or talk with you is really going to be, I would say, something that leads you to reflect on the person that you are, to reflect on what does it mean to be a leader. And as entrepreneurs, one thing that really strikes me is that it takes a lot of courage to be an entrepreneur. It takes a lot of motivation. It takes a lot of hard work. It takes, endless sleepless nights to get your plans together. And I think if all of you who are on this webinar tonight have taken a decision to actually venture in this direction, I mean, all of you women here are definitely very inspirational, at least to me, and I'm sure to many others. And I really congratulate you for making such a decision, and I hope you will succeed. So let me just start. Today, I'm going to be really focusing on what it means to be a woman leader and what shapes us into being, what really shapes us in our leadership journey as women in specific. And this can apply, really the context of my talk to a woman, really a woman in the corporate world, and a woman entrepreneur, a woman who is NGO, nonprofit leader. And I think, I hope that whatever I'm going to say is going to be useful. And feel free, please, to drop any questions here. And while I speak, and I will try to entertain as many as I can at the very end. So, let me start by saying, first of all, positive change in the world only comes from really the dreams and passions of people like you and me who want to serve their communities. And when I say serve the community, I don't really mean charity. I mean, that could be through having a business that provides employment opportunities for others. That could be from, even if you already have a startup, developing and promoting your talent and your staff and motivating them to make a difference. But at the end of the day, every single one of us here has the power, to create change in the world, in the community in which we live. So really, all of you brilliant women, have a path ahead of you where you can truly make a difference. And this is the starting point that I truly want you to believe in and to really appreciate as you grow into the entrepreneurs that you are going to become in the future. And if you are already an entrepreneur, then think about how you can integrate, giving back to the community and developing people that you have on your teams in order to give back, to your countries, to your communities, and to the world we live in. So I thought for long when I was asked to speak about women in leadership. And, I started really writing a speech about leadership, which is very much by the book. But then I thought to myself, let me get personal. Let me unveil what are the key factors that truly shapes us as women in our journey to leadership. And I thought that one of the most important aspects of becoming a leader, and for me, personally, I found that this is really truly knowing yourself. And I don't know how many of you on this webinar have thought or reflected really on what your true passion is or who you truly are, and have built their businesses on that passion or the idea behind those businesses on that passion. But I think for me, the most important thing is really to reflect on who you truly are. This is really the starting point. The second thing is really knowing your strengths and equally your weaknesses. So as leaders, it is very important to be self-aware. And it is very important to use both your strengths and your weaknesses to make the best out of the situations you will encounter so that you can realize the results and the goals that you want. But also important is knowing your stakeholders and how to approach them. So what I noticed through my journey is that, including with myself, is that women in general can really shy away from being bold. And even those who are bold can often be perceived as aggressive, despite the fact that if men were bold, it would actually be normal. So as women, because, there are certain perceptions and stereotypes around women, I think the minute a woman decides to be bold, it could be, misperceived as being aggressive. So having said that, I have no doubt that each and every woman on this webinar is a naturally born leader. And I'm confident that ahead of you is a great future and that you will succeed to overcome anything that comes your way. So I'll start now by, sharing with you some very personal thoughts and insights on my own leadership journey, with the hope you can reflect and see, how you can take your own forward. I think the most important thing for a woman leader is knowing your values and holding on to them. I wrote, the words, and the words that I'm saying now, are really from my heart. And I ask you all to focus on this real life story and reflect on it. I'm going to focus now on what shaped me as a woman and how that impacted me as a leader and what shaped my values. So I'll start with me being a girl. So when I was a girl, like anyone else, I thought that the world, was all about going to the play area, playing, looking at beautiful flowers. And, it was really a beautiful, magical world. And, I loved interacting with others from every corner of the world, rich and poor, girls and boys. And I was really a free spirit. I was filled with idealism. But then one day I realized that I need to balance my idealism and turn that into passion and combine that with some realistic thoughts or realism. So as I began to discover the woman that I am, I realized that I didn't love myself enough and that I was filled with fear of rejection, which only signaled that I need to believe in myself as a woman wholeheartedly. And I think, a lot of us women, often fall in this trap, which is, not thinking that we're good enough, not loving ourselves enough, simply because we have to cater and attend to so many people in our lives, be it our parents, our husbands, kids, in addition to our, potential careers, like entrepreneurship, for example. So I think it's very important that we really take the time to nurture ourselves and to grow ourselves, because if we don't love ourselves and we don't give back to ourselves, we really can't give back in any other area of our lives. So this is, the first reflection that I wanted to make. As a teenage girl, I hesitated to show my true self out of fear of being rejected. So as I began to respect myself and recognize my self-worth, I started setting boundaries and stopped allowing anyone to intrude without my agreement. I stood up for my beliefs and made my voice heard. So what I mean here, as an entrepreneur, you may have a very unique idea for your business. And there you go. Not everybody that you meet or you encounter, be it an investor or a mentor or a coach or people even who are going to work with you or your family, not everybody is going to agree with the idea that you have. But it is very, very important to stand up for what you believe in, to express, what you truly feel about what you're doing in a very authentic way and not to shy away from standing up for your beliefs. So as a young woman, I also followed my path, not knowing where it would lead me. I thought endlessly of the plight of others who are less fortunate and ended up choosing a career that would allow me to achieve just that, which was my passion and is my passion today, which is giving back. So I chose a career really with UNHCR, working with refugees across the world in Sudan, in Algeria, in Morocco, in Tunisia, in Egypt. And then I realized that not as mobile as I thought I was, and especially as a mother. I had to find a balance. And I couldn't continue working in different countries and traveling to faraway lands, often, out of this world, like when I went to East Sudan. So what I encourage you to do is really explore while you're working so hard to become an entrepreneur. Again, it goes back to loving yourself. You need to find a way to strike a balance and to find a way to give back in every area of your life, as a mother, as a wife, as a sister, and as a businesswoman. So my journey continued, and as I began to evolve also spiritually, I started to realize that there is a power higher than all of us who has crafted a beautiful journey for me as a woman. So what I mean here for you all is that sometimes, no matter how good you plan your business, your goals, your projections over the next 3 to 5 years and so on and so forth, there is a point where you need to be an intuitive leader, which means you have to follow your intuition. Sometimes you meet people who cross your path, or you get a thought or an idea that just crosses your mind that was not part of your plans. And most often than not, this intuitive idea can drive you to, the next level in your business and the next level in your, success journey. So what I'm trying to say here is embrace this intuition. And despite the fact that you have planned, put all the goals, try to adapt, to whatever this higher power in your life brings your way. This journey, when you confine and trust your instincts, this is so far from the social boundaries that surround us as women. So what I ask you today is really part of growing as a leader is knowing yourself, holding to your values, but is also connecting with your inner self. You need to rely on that power, whatever it may be or mean to you, and engage all your senses in your journey and what you're trying to achieve. One other thing I recognized is that I'm not in control and that I can only change me, and that I would need to accept what is beyond my control. And this is a lesson in leadership. Often enough, we are put in situations where we need to work with people that are different than us. We might not always agree, with the way they do things. We might encounter people who can unlock certain keys for our businesses. But at the end of the day, we really need to have acceptance, and we really need to stop trying to change those around us, but actually trying to change the things that are in our control and going away from trying to change things beyond our control. So we all encounter, as I said, different people in our journeys, some that we connect with naturally and effortlessly, and others that we would not want to spend a minute with. You need to embrace all the differences in everyone regardless. We are all one, but not the same, and everyone brings a different perspective to the table. And when you build a business and when you build a team, I think it's critical to look at the diversity of this team and to leverage the different capabilities that, this diversity and team brings to the table. So when you feel like giving up, only think of how you can change yourself and stop trying to change others, as they will only change on their own. And this applies to life and career life, especially with your teams. As a leader, embrace diversity and leverage its strength. So as a career woman, I also recognized that my high standards and strive for perfection are great qualities, but that even when I deliver what I would think is not good enough, others are inspired. So a lot of women, it's in our nature as women, like I said earlier, not to believe that we are good enough or what we deliver is of the highest standard. And I think this has to do with our image or self-worth. And I think we really need to focus on accepting our talent and being proud about it and being eager to showcase it to the world. And, there is nothing wrong in showing who you are and showing the great talent that you have, and in really presenting your ideas and your business in the most powerful way. And I think if you vibrate this kind of energy, a lot of great things will be attracted to you naturally beyond your imagination. So today I evolved to really believe in my capability and to know that they are more than good enough. And, as a young woman also, and maybe many of you on this webinar, might have faced and witnessed hardship. But also this hardship allowed me to have acceptance and patience, which today helps me persevere in my leadership journey. So leverage any downtime or hardships that you go through in your leadership journey and turn these difficult times into weapons of empathy towards others, where you are in the best position to empower and transform those around you, be it your consumers, your teams, your customers. You have the power to influence every single stakeholder who has a stake in your business. So today, I learned to live the moment, to accept myself the way I am, and to have clarity of mind. Today, I don't fear anymore stating my opinion and making my voice heard despite resistance. Today, I rely on divine engineering and intervention to guide my actions. I try to lead from the heart with passion, authenticities, and putting others before self. And for me, this is what I believe be the real definition of a woman leader. So I think, it's very important to your values and to define them and to let them, guide your journey into becoming a very strong leader, an authentic one, more importantly. So if I summarize the values that have shaped me as a leader, and I hope that you will do too, and identify, these 4 or 5 values that truly define you as a leader. I think for me, it's really passion. In everything I do, I think of how to make it the best possible ever. And this is because of my passion. And I'm sure that every one of you here, since you've decided to embark on this new journey, I think you're quite passionate. So don't lose that passion. Don't be discouraged when things don't go your way. It will drive you forward, take you to the next level. The other thing is determination for achievement. So determination is slightly different than passion. And I think as an entrepreneur, you truly need to be determined, because there will be many moments where, some of you might not have partners. Some of you might not be working in teams. So you might be on your own and sometimes feeling very lonely when you try to put a business plan together or, try to present or pitch your ideas on your own. This is not easy. So I think the key here is, the passion, and then bringing that determination and belief that you're going to get there and that you're going to achieve. The other thing is really listening and empathy and understanding. And this particular value in my life comes in play very much with my team. So with every member of my team, I try to, be a leader who listens, who tries to understand their concerns within work or beyond. Because at the end of the day, yes, we all want to realize fantastic business objectives and goals and get to the success level that we're all dreaming of. But at the end of the day, you can never make it happen on your own. And as a leader, you need to embrace those who work with you. You need to understand them. You need to give them time to listen to their concerns, to their ideas, to their passions as well. And you need to express empathy. And I think by doing that, people will follow you blindly versus be forced to follow you or, just because they need a job in your enterprise. Another key aspect of leadership is really building, an openness culture and being authentic and, establishing trust. So, I think the openness piece is very much linked with transparency. So a leader who shares information equally across his company, across his organization, who is open, even when the business is not doing well, even when you have to let go people, maybe in some situations. So in the most difficult situation, steps up to bring the team on board, to get their opinions, to be honest about the situation, and actually to leverage, the different ideas on the table to solve that problem, is truly an open leader who establishes trust very easily and who comes across as a true and authentic leader. So I think openness, authenticity, and trust would be a critical value in your leadership journey. Next is really resilience. And that has to do, and very much with determination and passion, but it's a little bit different. Resilience is really, getting slapped on the face or falling down at least 10 times, but having that strength and that courage to continue and persevere and not give up. And I think for entrepreneurs in particular, this is a key step and a key skill must be embraced, and that must be part of who you are as an entrepreneur, as a leader. Last but not least, I think accepting yourself and others, and that has to do with what I discussed earlier, which is, truly knowing who you are, truly knowing your values, loving yourself and believing in your capabilities, and therefore, accepting yourself and others. So before I end my very brief talk, I wanted to say that, you are each in your own way unique, and you each have a talent, and discover that talent, give it away and help others too, and watch the positive changes that will happen in your life. And what I mean here, today, I am sure and I am confident that each one of you, whether you win the Hadafi competition or not, if you truly believe and see the end in mind in terms of your business plans and your business, I'm sure that you will succeed. But the key here is also to remember that once you get there, and as you build your business plan, always think of how to also serve those around you and to give back to the community. Because today's sustainability, giving back, CSR, is truly a critical part that should be integrated into your business plan, and that you should truly think about as a license for you to operate, whatever the country that you will build your business in. So I really, would say that it's critically important to think of how will you make your business sustainable? What are the social development issues that your business will tackle? And thinking about how you can integrate those into your business plan. And when you succeed, how you can kind of scale up such initiatives so that you truly have acceptance from your consumers, your customers, and the community in which you live, in which you operate. So I would like, to end this talk with you by stating a quote from the author Diane Mary Child, saying that a woman is the full circle, and within her is the power to create, nurture, and transform. And so I really call on all of you to remember on your leadership journey, beyond your values, beyond who you are, and beyond what it truly means to be a strong woman leader, remember to transform. Remember to transform your teams, remember to transform yourself, and remember to transform the communities and the countries and the world that you live in. So thank you so much. I think, this brings me to the end of my talk, and I hope, it has been useful for everyone.
Thank you a lot, Noha, for the great presentation and your interaction. That was great as usual. In case anyone has a question or want to ask anything to Ms. Noha, please feel free to ask it either in the chat tab or in the question tab.
Okay, I'm seeing a question here, and it says, when I was walking to my principles, I felt it is difficult to accept that I felt it's difficult for people to accept my views. So I feel that I began to lose my passion that I have always lived for. How do I balance the two things together? A sense of passion and not the frustration of others to accept my thoughts. I think, this is a great, question. And this goes back to the part in my speech where I was talking about, embracing differences, adapting, and leveraging the downtimes in your journey. I'll give you an example, Yani. It's not going to be every time you interact with others or you showcase your ideas that everyone will love it. But how to balance not losing that passion is, it takes, and believe me, it's not as simple as it sounds. It takes tremendous work to work on yourself and to work on growing your inner self. And a lot of the time, what makes you lose your passion is your own sense of not, being confident of your idea. And maybe you're confident about it, but you lose your self worth, or you think you're not good enough. So I think it's going back to these values and always constantly reminding yourself, I have a great idea, I'm going to succeed, and seeing that and visualizing it every day in your life. That is going to be a critical part in your journey. And trust me, the positive thinking and encouraging your intuition and visualizing success is a key skill that many leaders, such as Einstein, such as many others, have always done that. And so when you feel down and you feel that others don't accept you, take a break, take time on your own, reflect on where you're going, your direction, and reaffirm to yourself continuously that what you're doing is great. What you're doing, think of how you can evolve what you're doing and keep driving forward. And this is the resilient piece. I hope I've answered your question.